Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our village board meeting. Video of this meeting is streamed live on YouTube and will be available on Facebook and the village website. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask Clerk Saladino to call the roll.
Trustee Augustine.
Here.
Trustee Gale.
Here.
Trustee McGee.
Here.
Trustee O'Brien.
Here.
Trustee Peterson.
Here.
Trustee Thompson.
Here.
President Kugler.
Here. And with that, we have a quorum. Shortly, we're going to be recognizing two individuals, Steve Labanco for 24 years of service, and he's retired as a sergeant in our police department, and today he's joined by his sister Cynthia, and we're looking forward to recognizing Sergeant Labanco. We also are here for the recognition of Sergeant Scott Wolf, and Scott is joined by his parents, Scott and Donna Wolf. And Scott and Donna Wolf have agreed to do or lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if they could come to the center podium, that would be wonderful. And thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Wolf. I want to, we haven't been here. We canceled the last meeting due to the Thanksgiving holiday. Hope everyone had a safe and enjoyable Thanksgiving. We also had, since our last meeting, the Christmas walk, and hope everybody made it out. It was a wonderful night. And the LGBA, with assistance of the village staff, did a fantastic job, and I appreciate everybody who came out and celebrated. So with that, I'd like to wish everybody Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and hopefully everybody is shopping and dining in LaGrange. We're going to start with a public hearing on the property tax. The preliminary 2023 village property tax levy was reviewed and discussed during the November 13th village board meeting. At that meeting, the village board provided direction regarding the 2023 property tax. While the property tax levy does not rise to the level requiring a public hearing under the Truth in Taxation Act, the village has elected to hold a public hearing to ensure that interested parties have the opportunity to provide comment. A notice of the public hearing was posted and published in accordance with state statute. The proposed 2023 tax levy for the Village of LaGrange Public Library, which is a separate governmental body included in the village's levy, reflects a total increase of 4.5% exclusive of debt service over the prior year's tax extension. The levy also includes 0.4% to capture new growth. At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing and invite anyone that wishes to provide comment to please come to the podium. Seeing none, we'll close that portion of the meeting, the portion to allow the public hearing for comments on that. Moving on, back to our good news, which is a resolution of appreciation for Sergeant Steve Labanco's 24 years of service to the Village of LaGrange. Sergeant Steve joined the LaGrange Police Department on August 2nd, 1999, after serving 2 years with the Chicago Police Department. He was promoted to sergeant on March 22nd, 2015, and in December 2019, he was appointed watch commander. Steve's a graduate of Lyons Township High School and graduated from the Virginia Military Institute, VMI. After graduation from VMI, Steve was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army as a field artillery officer and served 6 years active duty in assignments in the U.S. and overseas, leaving active duty as a captain of the U.S. Army. He continued to serve in the U.S. Army Reserve. During his career, Sergeant Labanco has served as a patrol officer, a dare instructor, an investigator, a squad leader, and sergeant. Over the years, he served with the Major Case Assistance Team, was an evidence technician, bike officer, school liaison officer at LT's North Campus, a field training officer, and served as a department representative to the FBI Chicago Terrorism Liaison Officer Committee. Steve also served for 14 years on the LaGrange Police Pension Board as a trustee and board secretary. Steve's received certifications as a juvenile officer, dare instructor, school resource officer, field training officer, and completed courses at Northwestern University's Center for Public Safety and Crime Scene Technology and Supervision of Police Personnel. Steve's received numerous letters of commendation, the Field Training Officer Medal, the Dare Officer Medal, the National Defense Medal, Educational Achievement Award Medal for Good Conduct Award medals, and 3 unit citation medals for his service during his career. In recognition of his accomplished career, I entertain a motion to approve the proposed resolution of appreciation for Sergeant Steve Labanco's 24 years of village service.
So moved.
Second? And again, I think it's worthy of just repeating so that it's clear, because 24 years and all those accomplishments are definitely worth hearing again. So I do want to read the resolution. Whereas Stephen Labanco joined the LaGrange Police Department as a police officer in 1999, and whereas Stephen Labanco served as a DARE officer, investigator, and crisis intervention officer, and whereas Stephen Labanco was appointed to the rank of sergeant in 2015 and served as day shift watch commander since 2019. And whereas Stephen Labanco has consistently demonstrated commitment to service and respect for all members of the police department, and whereas Stephen Labanco has honored his profession by protecting the rights of all people while showing compassion and respect for all individuals, and whereas Stephen Labanco's professionalism, dedication, and commitment to excellence throughout his 24 years of service to the citizens of LaGrange is truly admirable. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the village president, village clerk, and board of trustees of the village of LaGrange do hereby express their sincere gratitude and deepest appreciation to Sergeant Stephen Labanco for his many years of service, loyalty, and dedication to the village, and we convey our best wishes on your retirement. So first, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And nobody's opposed, so that passes unanimously. So congratulations. Congratulations.
All the village employees, thank you very much. It's kind of humbling. My time here was very rewarding, to say the least. It was a real honor and privilege to work with the fine members of LaGrange PD over the last almost quarter century, and had the pleasure and honor to be able to serve the community in which I grew up. Once again, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Everyone have a happy holiday and a safe and happy New Year.
Thank you again, Sergeant. And Cynthia, thank you for coming out and supporting your brother. That's awesome. Next, it's my absolute honor to have Sergeant Scott Wolf come up. On November 20th, 2023, the Grange Board of Fire and Police Commissioners approved Officer Scott Wolf's promotion to the rank of sergeant to fill this vacancy. Scott's a 15-year veteran of the Grange Police Department and began his career with the village in September of 2008. Scott has served as a field training officer and most recently as a squad leader. During the past 15 years, Scott was involved in a number of significant cases and was a member of the Northern Illinois Police Alarm System, aiding agencies across Illinois. Scott has received numerous awards and commendations, including the Unit Citation Award and Meritorious Service Award. I invite Clerk Saladino and Sergeant Wolf, and both Scott and Donna Wolf, to come to the dais for the oath of office.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Scott Wolf,
I, Scott Wolf,
having been appointed to the office of Police Sergeant
having been appointed to the office of Police Sergeant
in the village of LaGrange,
in the village of LaGrange,
in the county of Cook,
in the county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of Police Sergeant
the duties of office of Police Sergeant
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Sergeant Wolf, thank you for your dedication, your professionalism this last 15 years, the leadership that you've shown, and that we know you'll continue to show. We really appreciate your dedication. And to Mrs. and Mr. Wolf, we know it's not easy when your son or daughter is a first responder. And we appreciate your sacrifices. I know that you worry when they're working, and you're sad and lonesome when they miss the holidays. So we appreciate the sacrifice that the families of our first responders make. And thank you for that, and thank you for coming out tonight. Moving on to the fire department. We want to thank and give best wishes to Chief Steve Novellis. His last day with the village will be Friday, December 15th. Steve has been with us for a very long time, but he's made an impact in his time here, and we do appreciate that. He's made great strides in empowering staff and providing them with guidance and leadership. We obviously wish you all the best as chief in your next department. With Steve's announcement, the village moves swiftly to identify a candidate to serve as the village's next fire chief. I'm happy to share that Dan Rita, who's currently deputy chief in Tenley Park, has been selected as the village's next fire chief. His first day is planned to be Monday, December 18th, and a formal oath of office will take place during the next village board meeting on January 8th. And with that, I would ask if there's a manager's report.
There is, and thank you, President Kukler. First off, congratulations to Sergeant Lebanco on his retirement and Sergeant Wolf on his promotion. And I'd also like to extend my gratitude to Chief Norvillis and wish you the best of luck. We are in the time of the season where we have Keep the Wreath Red. It's ongoing. We want to encourage everybody to keep the wreath red. This effort, which is intended to raise attention for safety as it relates to holiday decorations, has been around since 1954. Everyone is encouraged to exercise safety when decorating their homes and to have an incident-free holiday. Holiday light recycling is currently ongoing. The annual program is underway now through January 7th. During this time, residents can drop off unwanted holiday lights for recycling, and they could do this in several locations, including Village Hall, the parking garage vestibule, the library, and several other locations. Lastly, I wanted to mention that item B under current business is related to the implementation of a 12-hour shift pilot program in the police department. This proposal took significant effort on behalf of the chief, deputy chief, HR staff, and union representatives to arrive at a proposal that works for both parties. We look forward to what we anticipate will be several positive impacts regarding the program and wanted to thank all those that were involved for their efforts. President Kukler, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Thank you, Village Manager Knight. Clerk Saladino, I'd request that you read the items on the consent agenda, followed by the items appearing under current business.
Matters on the consent agenda will be considered by a single motion and vote because they've already been considered fully by the board at a previous meeting or have been determined to be of a routine nature. Any member of the Board of Trustees may request that an item be moved from the consent agenda to current business for separate consideration. Item A, an ordinance abating the 2023 tax levy, general obligation bonds, waterworks system, alternative revenue source, Series 2012A. Item B, an ordinance abating the 2023 tax levy, general obligation bonds, sewer system, alternative revenue sources, Series 2015. Item C, an ordinance providing for the annual tax levy for the Village of Grange, Cook County, Illinois, for the fiscal year May 1st, 2023 to April 30th, 2024. Item D, an ordinance approving a zoning text amendment to permit changeable message signs when accessory to gasoline service stations. Item E, an ordinance amending Title 11 of the Code of Ordinances of the Village of Grange to adopt valet parking regulations. Item F, a resolution approving a supplemental statement of work with Municipal GIS Partners Incorporated for GIS service. Item G, a resolution authorizing the local match for improvements through the West Central Municipal Conference Surface Transportation Program. Item H, an ordinance amending Chapter 72 of the LaGrange Code of Ordinances regarding village parking facilities. Item I, an ordinance adopting the Village of Grange's current paid leave and benefits policy. Item J, minutes of the Village of Grange Board of Trustee special meetings Friday, October 27th, 2023, and Saturday, October 28th, 2023. Item K, minutes of the Village of Grange Board of Trustees regular meeting Monday, November 13th, 2023. Item L, consolidated voucher 231127, and item M, consolidated voucher 231211. Current business. This agenda item includes considerations of matters being presented to the Board of Trustees for action. Item A, 2024 through 2027 Strategic Planning Retreat Summary and Strategic Framework. Item B, a resolution authorizing the execution of a side letter agreement with the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police for a 12-hour shift pilot program. Item C, a resolution authorizing the intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Grange and Cook County for the resurfacing of Brainerd and Shawmut Avenues. Item D, Ordinances approving amendments to the zoning approvals for Uptown LaGrange, located at 31 East Ogden Avenue, a text amendment allowing off-site signs in planned developments, and a design review permit for 14 South LaGrange Road. And item E, an ordinance approving a special use permit for an elementary and secondary school located at 100 6th Avenue.
Thank you, Clerk Saladino. And before I call for public comments, I did verify with Village Manager Knight, we will not be meeting on Christmas, which is 2 weeks from today. So yeah, don't cancel your plans. Spend time with your family on December 25th, and we'll be meeting the second Monday in January. With that, I would open the floor to public comments regarding matters on tonight's agenda. Seeing none, I would ask for a motion on the consent agenda.
I move for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you, trustees. With that, any comments on the consent agenda?
Thank you, President Kukler. As previously stated, I recuse myself from voting on any agenda items related to the village prosecutor.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. Trustee Peterson.
Thank you, President Kukler. I just wanted to clarify what the letters, the ordinance abating the 2023 tax levy general obligation bonds for the waterworks system, and also an ordinance abating the 2023 tax levy general obligation for the sewer systems. I just wanted to make sure that the residents understood that means that we are reducing the property levy for that, and we will be paying for debt service out of operations. But I'm going to ask our finance director if she has any comments she'd like to add.
The abatement, what that means is that the village has identified funding to make those bond payments so that it reduces the effect on your property tax payments on the residents of LaGrange.
Thank you.
Thanks, both of you.
President Kukler?
Yes.
So my understanding is, and I talked to Jack about this, is that we've actually never, it's not a reduction, we've actually never charged it. So we're not reducing taxes. We're just holding the line and keeping them. We didn't charge for this in last year's taxes.
You're correct. I'm sorry.
Right. So the one thing I would like to mention is that that abatement, the second abatement, is $1.1 million, or $1,231,000 that we could actually raise to pay for streets, sewer, water, flood control that we're not going to abate and pass, along also with not passing the full tax increase. That's another, what, $100,000 that we could be putting in the bank. So every year we abate these taxes and don't raise our taxes to the max is putting us that much further behind on raising money to pay for all our flooding and mitigation. And if you saw the article in the newspaper today about Western Springs not able to pass a bond issue and no longer able to fix their streets, I fear that the village of LaGrange, when we come up and we're needing $30, $40 million to fix flooding issues in this city and then also fix our water lines, lead pipe replacement, streets, we're not going to be able to find the money. And then as a board, we're going to be the ones that were physically unresponsible in managing our budget to keep that money coming. I just think it's very wrong in the stance we're taking at this point.
Thank you. Seeing no other, Trustee Augustine.
I would just kind of say the same, and Trustee Thompson and I were talking about this the last meeting. I understand why we considered not taking the full amount for the levy last year, even though I wasn't solidly behind it. I certainly wasn't solidly behind it this year. And when we have to go out to pay for things, as we will need to in the future, we will now be paying high interest rates on those bonds versus taking the levy that we're due. The towns that don't take full levy tend to have car dealerships, gambling, maybe some oil. And we are a well-managed town, but we're not an overly wealthy town that can really afford to not take something like this. And I don't know exactly how the library feels about not getting the full amount, but I'd be interested if you had anything to say about that and give us some of your input for future years when we consider these items.
If we want discussion, we probably should just remove the item from consent, and then we can have it, heard, if you'd like that.
I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but if they'd be interested, then maybe we should.
Again, I just need a trustee to move to remove something from the consent agenda, and it will happen.
I'll move to remove item C from the consent agenda.
Which item?
C?
Okay. So item C is going to be removed from the consent agenda. The motion, and Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, then the motion will be, that's been raised and seconded, will be for all items other than C, correct?
Correct.
Okay, with that, I would ask for a roll call vote on the consent agenda other than item C.
Trustee Peterson?
Aye.
Trustee Thompson?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
And the consent agenda other than item C passes. Moving on now to current business, I'll pass item 6C back to Trustee Augustine to present, and then we'll ask for a motion and a second.
Okay, thank you, President Kugler. So we'll be voting on this item separately, whether we approve the 4.5 that we decided to go for versus the full amount. And I'm just interested in how our partners at the library feel about it. Again, don't have to say anything one way or the other. But I did want to make comment while we, be able to make my vote show that I think that what we've set is somewhat of a dangerous precedent. And we have so many fiscal obligations coming up. Our finance management has never recommended taking anything less than what we are due. And, it's just very concerning to me that we think about the difference between taking this versus going out for more in a bond in the future. But if you all at the library are okay with it, or if you'd had any thoughts, it would be great for us to hear that for future reference.
Okay, before that happens, you're making the motion for C, and then I need a second.
Say that again?
You're motioning for ordinance 6C.
C.
And then I need a second.
Second.
Thank you, trustees. And with that, we can open it to board discussion. Before we invite the library board to speak, does any trustee want to speak?
Can you repeat the motion, please?
It's a motion to approve 6C.
Okay.
That was previously under the consent agenda, which is an ordinance providing for an annual tax levy for the village of LaGrange, Cook County, Illinois, for the fiscal year May 1, 2023 to April 30th, 2024. Okay, not seeing any comments from the trustees at this time, I would invite the library to come to the podium. And again, as we said, the library is their own governmental entity. They're under our umbrella to a degree, but they have independent rights, obligations, their own board.
That's right. Thank you, President Kukler. My name is Katie Allen. I am the president of the LaGrange Library Board. It's an honor to be here tonight. And I would echo some of what Trustee Augustine and Trustee Thompson have said. Traditionally, it's my understanding that we have made our levy requests in line with the village, so we follow suit. And with the village electing to go to 4.5%, we have gone in line with that. But we're very cognizant of the fact that we are leaving money on the table, and we have many capital improvements that we would love to be able to direct those funds to. We have a beautiful building, but it is nearing a 20-year mark, and we have a lot of wear and tear and maintenance to keep it looking as beautiful as it was back in 2007 when it was built. We have a wonderful drive-up window we've just added, and we're constantly trying to maintain the standard of service that we have set in this community, and those funds would go a long way to continuing that. So I would just say again, we'll stay in line with what the village board is asking, but it is money left on the table. Thank you.
Thank you very much. After hearing from the library, does any village trustee have any comments?
President Kugler?
Yes, Trustee Gale.
Thanks. I just wanted to, reiterate, what we talked about the last time when we debated the levy. I think the message to the residents is, from my perspective, we hear a lot of complaints about the size of their property tax bills, and that we will do what we can at the village level. That we understand. Understand it's a big ask. You can't just break off a piece of your property and sell it to pay the tax. It comes out of your income, and that we will try to keep downward pressure on it. And so I think it's appropriate we keep it at the 4.5 that we discussed last time. Also, I think my understanding of what happened in we were talking about Western Springs. I believe they had a referendum that got voted down, village-wide, which is different from what we're talking about here. And I certainly appreciate the library's statements, and the other comments here. It's a one way or the other. We're if we don't take the full, yes, it can be, it is less, but it's also, I think, important for us to say to the residents, we're going to try to keep that downward pressure on these expenses. So I think we, and if I'm understanding the motion correctly, it is still the motion as we previously approved it for the 4.5, and so that's what I'm supportive of, and we'll vote in favor of.
Thank you. Any other trustee comments? Trustee Augustine.
And I'll just make one more, and everybody's giving thoughtful statements, and I think that's all appreciated across the board. But this village does a very good job at applying for grants and controlling their costs and finding savings where we can. I just don't see this as an area to be looking at year after year because it compounds. So it's just not an area where I think we should look at as a place to save our taxpayers a few dollars. Everybody up here is paying for it. It's not a lot, but it really turns into quite a bit for the village. So with our costs going up in every sector, it's not something to dismiss lightly.
Thank you. Trustee Thompson.
Thank you, President Cook. And again, you're right. It's always tough to raise taxes, but we're trying to negotiate deals with MWRD on a 50-50 share basis, we hope. We don't have, from the estimates we think we're seeing, we need millions of dollars. And I think of our bond issue after the lawyer fees that we've already passed is very little money left, maybe $12 million left. So anytime we're turning down quote unquote free money where the money can be taken in taxes, just leaves us at the ability where we will have to go out to referendum to pay for these things. And if the referendum fails, then we're gonna have to explain to the citizens that we did not take the taxes we could take in the past, and we've left ourselves open. And that to me is just unacceptable. So I just think we really need to be trying to get the money while we can without having to go to bond issue, because passing referendums can be very difficult in this current climate, and I don't see that changing. So I just think it's wrong that we're not taking the full tax.
Thank you, Trustee Thompson. With that, any further trustee comments? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call vote on the motion.
Trustee Augustine.
Nay.
Trustee Gale.
Aye.
Trustee Thompson. Trustee Peterson.
Aye.
Trustee McGee.
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien.
Aye.
And I do not vote, or I do vote?
You do not. It passes 4-2.
It passes 4-2. Thank you very much. And I would have voted aye if I had the opportunity. So thank you for that. Thank you for the discussion. Moving on to the other matters on the current business. Up first, under 7A, is the discussion about the strategic planning retreat summary and framework. On a recurring basis, the village board and management team, staff members meet to develop a strategic plan for future years. The process allows for the creation of an organizational mission, values, priorities to guide the efforts of the village over the course of the plan. In October of this year, the village board and village management team members participated in the strategic process for the years 2024 through 2027. The process included several steps leading up to a 2-day workshop session, including a survey of employees and a summary of demographic data that was presented during the meeting. The village's consultant then led the group through a process in which a vision for the community was established, along with an organizational mission, values, and priorities. In summary, the strategic planning effort, which includes the result of various exercises and the development of components of the plan, follows, and it's attached to our board package as one. In addition to the strategic planning retreat summary, a one-page summary of the strategic planning framework was developed to more easily convey the components of the plan. The efforts of the village board, staff, and consultants in developing the strategic plan are appreciated. Before presenting the 2024-27 strategic plan retreat summary and framework, I want to highlight a few of the items. Under one of the sections, 7A3, we were asked what we love about LaGrange, and I do want to read those and hope that the community at large agrees. The trees and urban canopy, community of independent and small businesses, walkability and safety of the neighborhood. The movie theater is historic and special. People talk about the greatness of the LaGrange, which makes you proud to say you're from here. It's a great place to raise a family with an ideal location. Safe and family friendly. The downtown area is great. The architecture is wonderful. Appreciation for what has been accomplished. A strong sense of community identity. We punch above our weight. Ditto to everything that's been said, and we really don't have many negatives. A lot of people enjoy calling LaGrange our Mayberry, and we really do appreciate our local restaurants and stores. We also were asked what we hope will still be true in 10 years. We know there's going to be changes, and we appreciate that, but what do we want as leaders in the community to see in 10 years? And we indicated we want it to continue to be safe. We want Lyons Township High School to be an anchor of the community. We want to continue to be a tree city. We want to be exciting and diverse, especially in our downtown businesses. Well cared for homes and businesses. Good schools, good government. Good balance between business friendly and community friendly. Having a great downtown. Downtown business district that attracts families, residents, and non-residents for shopping, dining, and entertainment. Vibrant downtown, safe community, go-to community to live for all, walkability downtown, financially strong, family-oriented, a friendly village, that LaGrange is the best town to raise a family, fiscally sound, with strong leadership. And then we got together to do some strategic framework, and I want to read the 3 categories. First is the vision. The board wants the vision, or selected the words of our vision to be, LaGrange is a vibrant and welcoming village known for its historic appeal, strong partnerships, friendly community, thriving businesses, and exceptional public services. Our organizational mission is dedicated, friendly professionals delivering high-quality services to support a thriving and welcoming community. And our organizational values. LaGrange is committed to serving with integrity, professionalism, teamwork, adaptability, and innovation. So we're holding ourselves to those standards, and we know you will, as our residents and visitors, will hold us to those. And with that, I guess to have a discussion, do I have a motion to adopt the strategic plan? I'd entertain a motion and a second to adopting our strategic plan.
I move we adopt our strategic plan as presented.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Gale and Trustee Peterson. With that, I would open it up to any trustee comments. Seeing none, I would ask for a roll call vote on that.
You can also do it by voice vote if you want.
Whatever Clerk Saladino you prefer is fine with me.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
And that passes unanimously. With that, we will move on to B, a resolution authorizing the execution of a side letter agreement with the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police for a 12-hour shift pilot program, which is being referred to Trustee O'Brien.
Thank you, President Kugler. Excuse me. The Patrol Officers Union has long desired to work on an alternate patrol schedule. The officers currently work on a schedule consists of 6-day work weeks spanning a 6-week cycle, with officers receiving 2 days off a week after working 6 days, with the exception of the 5th and 6th week where they receive a 3-day weekend. The officers work an 8.25-hour day and 2,145 hours annually. The schedule has posed challenges regarding the work-life balance of officers and recruiting new officers and retention. Command staff and the Patrol Officers Union leadership have worked together to develop a pilot program for a 12-hour patrol shift schedule. The one-year pilot program will begin on January 14th, 2024, and will run until January 11th, 2025. Provisions of the program include all officers assigned to patrol shifts will work a 12-hour day with a 3-on, 2-off scheduled, followed by a 2-on, 3-off. The schedule will have the officers work 6 12-hour shifts and 1 8-hour shift over a 14-day period, 80 hours over a 14-day period, and 2,080 FLSA hours annually. Officers' salaries will remain as stipulated in the collective bargaining agreement. However, the officers' hourly rates will be based on 2,080 annual FLSA hours. Overtime will be paid for all hours worked beyond 80 that occur in a 14-day pay period. The use of sick time is not included in the calculation of hours worked for overtime purposes. The 12-hour shifts will begin at 0600 and 1800 hours. Excuse me. At least one officer on each shift will be designated to serve as an early car to ensure street coverage at schedule change. Roll call time compensation will not be provided, as officers will be given a brief roll call when they begin their shift. As roll call time is currently budgeted at $21,600 in the fiscal year 2023-2024 budget, this will provide for a cost savings to the village. With this agreement, either the union or the village may notify the other party in writing on or before November 1st, 2024 of the desire to end the pilot program upon its conclusion. In the event the pilot program is terminated in 2025, the union and the village will revert to the existing terms of the collective bargaining agreement. Absent such notification, a 12-hour shift schedule will remain in effect through the end of the collective bargaining contract term, which is April 30th, 2026, and until a new agreement is negotiated. The pilot program is anticipated to improve police operations without a decrease in the number of officers assigned to patrol shifts. Enhancements to the work-life balance of our officers' recruitment and retention efforts and community engagement initiatives are also anticipated, along with reductions in overtime expenses related to shift coverage. The program will also allow for more training and professional development opportunities for officers. The pilot program will be monitored throughout 2024 to ensure that public safety needs of the community are met in addition to the program's additional objectives. President Kugler, I'd like to move to approve a resolution authorizing the execution of a side letter agreement with the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police for a 12-hour shift pilot program.
Thank you, Trustee O'Brien. And a second on that.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Gale. Any discussion regarding this? Seeing none, I would say thank you, Chief Griffin, for your work and the whole department for working together. It's my understanding that a lot of officers really are looking forward to the 12-hour shift, more weekends home, more time with their families. So wonderful things, and we're excited to see how it works out. With that, I would ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Augustine.
Aye.
Trustee Thompson.
Aye.
Trustee Peterson.
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien.
Aye.
Trustee McGee.
Aye.
Trustee Gale.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Moving on, we're at C, a resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of LaGrange and Cook County for resurfacing of Brainerd and Shawmut Avenues, and that is being referred to Trustee Augustine.
Thank you, President Kukler. Here's a great example of fiscal responsibility on behalf of our staff. A great win for the village here. Invest in Cook is the name of an annual program that provides financial support for construction projects undertaken by local and regional governments as well as private entities in support of fulfilling the priorities of connecting Cook County. The village applied for funding through this program and has been awarded up to $250,000 in costs for the street resurfacing of Brainerd Avenue, which just recently was ripped up to get some new water mains in there, and Shawmut Avenues. And that's expected to take place, both of those, in the spring of 2024. Approval of the resolution will authorize the village to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with Cook County and secure funding in support of the project. Staff recommends approval of this resolution authorizing an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of LaGrange and Cook County for the resurfacing of Brainerd and Shawmut. And I authorize it as well, and it's worth pointing out that this process began back in 2020. That's when the grant was applied for, that's when they were looking into it. They forecasted the need to redo these streets, and now this has come due, and it's going to take a considerable amount of cost off our backs, and there's some other funding that's coming in on this as well. So I move that we approve this resolution authorizing the intergovernmental agreement between the Village of LaGrange and Cook County.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. And a second on that.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee O'Brien. Any discussion on this resolution? Again, living just off of Brainerd Avenue, I know that Brainerd Avenue project was long. We appreciate Public Works' efforts in trying to make it as bearable as possible, but it's tough when your street's ripped up. It was planned. We, as Trustee Augustine said, these grants were applied for. We knew they for some time now that we were getting them. It was staged, so the current Brainerd Avenue is really just temporary, and it was built to be temporary because next construction season, next spring, we'll be putting in the permanent fix. So we appreciate everybody's patience in that regard. And with that, I would ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Gale.
Aye.
Trustee McGee.
Aye.
Trustee Peterson.
Aye.
Trustee Thompson.
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien.
Aye.
Trustee Augustine.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Next up, we have ordinance approving amendments to the zoning approvals for Uptown LaGrange. It's at the corner of Ogden and LaGrange, located at 31 East Ogden Avenue. A text amendment allowing off-site signs in the planned developments and a design review permit for 14 South LaGrange Road, and that's being referred to Trustee Gale.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you just read, this is 3 separate ordinances, but we're going to try to tackle it all at one time, everybody. So tuck in. This is going to take a little bit. But I also want to thank our staff. I know there's been a lot of negotiations with respect to this. I want to thank the folks at Chase and the folks at GW LaGrange. A lot of good faith effort to get this thing through. I attended the Plan Commission hearing. I think I attended the pre-Plan Commission hearing, and now I get to do it here. And so before I dive in, I think the easiest thing to think about is there are 3 properties at issue here, and that helps you walk through it. So I'm going to point them each out as we go. So there's GW Grange LLC, that's the applicant. They're the owner of the vacant commercial lot at the northeast intersection of Ogden and LaGrange Road. That's 31 East Ogden Avenue. That's the subject property, that's property number 1. All right. So the applicant is requesting 1, an amendment to the plan development and final development of the plan, 2, a text amendment, 3, site plan approval, and 4, a design review permit at 31 East Ogden Avenue. And a design review permit also at 14 South LaGrange Road. That's 14 South LaGrange Road, right over here, LaGrange and Calendar Court. That's property number 2. That's where Chase currently is located. So the applicant is proposing to locate the Chase Bank operations currently at property 2 over to property 1. So they're just moving down the street. The subject property is governed by Uptown, so that's property 1. The subject property is governed by Uptown LaGrange development approvals granted in 2014, which include a special use permit for a planned development, site plans, design review permit, and development agreement. The approvals were granted to allow the construction of a mixed retail and multifamily development at the site, with the 9,200 square foot retail building planned for the commercial outlot. The development approvals include a specific list of allowable uses for the subject property, which are generally limited only to retail businesses. A financial service use, like the proposed Chase Bank facility, is not currently permitted under the terms of the 2014 development approvals. So the proposed project entails construction of a new 5,316 square foot walk-up Chase Bank building with parking facilities on the subject property. Again, that's property number 1, corner of Ogden and LaGrange. Subject property is currently vacant, and the bank will be served by existing parking and new parking that will be put in. The applicant is also proposing extensive landscaping improvements within and adjacent to the Ogden and LaGrange Road rights-of-way. The parcel is served by 2 existing driveways, a one-way drive from northbound LaGrange, and a 2-way drive providing access from Ogden Avenue. And again, these would all be at that property number 1. The requested zoning code text amendment will enable the applicant to construct an off-site ground sign at the southeast corner of LaGrange Road and Shawmut Avenue to identify an additional point of access for Chase Bank, as well as for Uptown LaGrange Apartments, the Metro Urgent Care, formerly Loyola Medicine at 125 North LaGrange Road, and Aspired Living of LaGrange. The new sign will replace 2 existing ground signs that are there. So in conjunction with this request related to 31 East Ogden, the applicant is seeking a design review permit for the 14 South LaGrange property. That's property number 2. The applicant is that's GW LaGrange. They are the contract purchaser for 14 South LaGrange, which is currently owned and occupied by Chase. The proposal includes rehabilitation of the building interior to convert the full 13,000 square foot first floor to commercial space capable of supporting retail or restaurant uses, construction of up to 7 residential apartments on the second floor, and modifications to the existing building facade. So as a compensating amenity to the requested plan development amendment, the applicant has offered off-site improvements to not only the 14 South LaGrange property, but also 308 West Burlington Avenue, a vacant Chase Bank with active drive-through ATMs. So that's property number 3. That's 308 West Burlington. It's right next to the police station. That's the Chase drive-through. The vacant building will be raised, and that portion of the site reverted to green space. The existing 6-lane ATM canopy will be reduced or eliminated to accommodate 2 functioning remaining ATMs. So the application was heard by the Plan Commission on September 19th, 2023. The meeting, the commissioners were generally supportive of all aspects of the proposal. The commissioners stressed the importance of the applicant providing appropriate safeguards to ensure completion of the proposed 14 South LaGrange Road improvements once Chase is allowed to proceed with its relocation to 31 East Ogden Avenue. The commissioners responded favorably to the 31 East Ogden Avenue plan revisions made by the applicant since the June pre-application meeting. And then 2 residents actually provided comments at the meeting. Generally, they were supportive, but the comments, residents expressed concerns about traffic and LaGrange and Ogden and the space and traffic and outdoor seating at the 14 South LaGrange location. The commissioners were generally supportive of the proposed facade improvements for the 14 South LaGrange property, with one commissioner suggesting revisions to height of the proposed columns of the building, and staff has worked with applicants to revise and address the comments. So after deliberation, the Plan Commission voted 5-0 to recommend the application with the following conditions. The proposed LED border tube, so these are the lights on property 1 where the new chase will go in. They must be dimmable and will be turned off at night. 2, the photometric engineering and sign plans must be revised per staff comments. The signage at 14 South LaGrange property, so that's property number 2, right out here, must be removed from the plans, and an application for a comprehensive sign plan be submitted at a later date. And 4, finalize a development agreement with staff and the village attorney to update the Uptown LaGrange's approvals and memorialize the agreement for the proposal, including proof of financial ability to complete the project. 5, submit written confirmation from the current owner of 125 North LaGrange Road, consenting to the proposed Shawmut Avenue multi-tenant sign improvements. And 6, provide a maintenance plan for the multi-tenant sign. One more to go. All right, since the Plan Commission hearing, the applicant has revised plans and submitted the requested additional information in accordance with the Commission's conditions of approval. Staff and the village attorney have prepared 3 attached proposed ordinances to effectuate the zoning approval, but we can approve them all at one go if we want. Staff and the village attorney have also negotiated a draft development agreement with the applicant and Chase that establishes the requirements for the development of 31 East Ogden Avenue, 14 South LaGrange Road, and 308 East Burlington Avenue. So that's property 1, 2, and 3. The development agreement is an exhibit to the proposed plan development ordinance. That's attached, and that's the first ordinance. If approved, the plan approvals within the attached plan development ordinance will not become effective until the applicant has sold the 31 East Ogden Avenue property to Chase, purchased the 14 South LaGrange Road property, provided proof of the financial wherewithal to complete the improvements detailed within the development agreement. So with that, I move that we approve all 3 of the ordinances as presented.
Thank you, Trustee Gale. And a second on that motion.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee O'Brien. With that, any discussion on the 3 motions? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call vote.
Well done.
Trustee McGee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Oh, yay.
Aye for that.
Trustee Peterson.
Aye.
Trustee Augustine.
Aye.
Trustee Thompson.
Aye.
Trustee Peterson.
Aye.
Trustee Yale.
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. We are looking forward to seeing the redevelopment in downtown LaGrange, and that's wonderful. Moving on, we're now going to move to Trustee McGee, an ordinance approving a special use permit for an elementary and secondary school located at 106th Avenue.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have Tallgrass Sudbury School currently occupies space and utilize a shared facility within the ground floor of First Congregational Church of LaGrange, located at 106th Avenue. The applicant is seeking approval of a special use permit to continue operating an elementary and secondary school at the subject property. Tallgrass Sudbury School was founded in 2008 in Riverside, Illinois, where it operated until recently moving to First Congregational Church, providing an alternative to conventional education. The school allows students to create and self-direct their own academic curriculum. Attendance at the school by students is accordingly varied, but there is a minimum of 5-hour attendance at the school is 5.5 hours a day, 5 days a week. Students arrive anytime between 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. and can leave anytime between 2:30 p.m. and 4 p.m. Currently, the school has 32 students and 5 full-time staff members, requiring seven parking spaces per the zoning code. The application was heard by the Plan Commission on November 14th, 2023. 2 residents provided public comment at the meeting, one in support of the application and one who expressed concerns regarding parking on the nearby residential streets. Special use permits are typically granted to the property and not to specific users, and therefore are transferable to new users under certain conditions. The Plan Commission stated concerns with the special use permit being transferred to users whose operations may have different off-site impacts. After deliberation, the Plan Commission voted 6-0 to recommend the application with the following conditions. 1, the maximum number of students is limited to 45, and the maximum number of staff limited to 5. Number 2, no more than maximum of 3 students shall be allowed to drive to school. 3, all employees of Tallgrass Sudbury School must purchase Central Business District parking decals. Number 4, as on-site parking becomes available on the church property through lease expirations of other tenants, said parking will be made available first to the applicant. Number 5, the use will comply with the submitted floor plan. And number 6, the special use permit is granted only to Tallgrass Sudbury School and is non-transferable. President Kukler, I move that we approve the request for the special use permit with the following stipulations.
Thank you, Trustee McGee. And a second on that?
Second.
Thank you, Trustee Gale. Any questions, discussion on that? Trustee Ossing.
Yes, thank you, President Kukler. I believe all of us got an email today from a neighbor in the area of this, where this school will be located. And they seem to think that the process is going well and they're being listened to, but there's still some concerns about parking and traffic flow. This is a very busy area already with school crossings, and there are a good number of accidents and near misses there from time to time. Has there been any consideration, and maybe this is for you, Charity, given to stepping up or needing police presence, at least initially, to see how things go, or an extra crossing guard or two? And also, how will we enforce that only 3 students are driving?
Sure. So I can take the first. I'll take the first part of that question first. We did, after the Plan Commission hearing, ask the parking enforcement officers to be checking on that area to see if there were any violations of the 2-hour parking on 6th Avenue, which the resident had addressed during the public hearing. I checked with Deputy Chief Ewer today. There have been a number of parking violations noted on 6th Avenue, but none in that 100 block that have been observed and ticketed. So it appears that it has been in compliance, and that's consistent with what we heard from the resident in their more recent email. We did also ask our traffic consultant, KLOA, to take a look at the enrollment caps as recommended by the Plan Commission and offer their advice as to whether that would impact their previous analysis, which found that the traffic volume would not be anything that would require any additional improvements or other considerations on Cosset or 6th Avenue. And they said that it would not create any additional anticipated traffic volume, that they would predict any issues or any need for any further infrastructure improvements. And then to your other question about the maximum number of student drivers. As with any special use permit that has sort of operational conditions, if the village becomes aware of issues or we start to find that we are writing tickets to students of the school there, then we can certainly follow up on that. And if any special use permit permittee is violating the terms of their special use permit, they are putting at risk that special use permit.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
Any other trustee comments? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call vote.
Trustee Peterson?
Aye.
Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee Thompson?
Aye.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee McGee?
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Moving on now to public comments regarding matters not on tonight's agenda. Please come forward to the microphone and introduce yourself. Thanks.
Hello, Mr. President and trustees. My name is Scott Thiessen, and I'm the owner of the apartment building at 16 South Sawyer. I'm here to comment on the lack of communication about the LaGrange Forward Comprehensive Plan. Our building is zoned as a 2-flat, and we are hoping that the updated comprehensive plan will result in being able to utilize the building as a 3-flat. My wife and I have been to a zoning commission meeting on April 11th and participated in the LaGrange Forward event on July 31st. At that July 31st event, we were both told by 2 TESCA consultant employees there would be at least 1 neighborhood meeting before the end of the year, specifically regarding zoning in the northeast corner of LaGrange. A meeting has not yet happened, and there are only a couple of weeks left in the calendar year. The only meeting mentioned on the LaGrange Forward website with any reference to our neighborhood was the Mosaic meeting on August 25th. That description on the LaGrange Forward website mentioned that, quote, village staff representing the LaGrange Forward planning team would be present, unquote. But neither the title nor the description specifically mentioned anything about zoning. Then, posted 3 months later on November 25th, the summary of that event on the website specifically mentions opinions about zoning. Had we known that zoning would be a topic, my wife and I would have attended, as well as several neighbors we have talked to who also have opinions about this topic. We have emailed our concerns to the appropriate village staff and to TESCA employees directly. One TESCA employee responded and directed us to the website. Village employees also keep directing us to the LaGrange Forward website to make comments. We have been subscribed to the website since July, but communications from that website are few and far between. We have made comments on the website, as have our neighbors, but there is no schedule of events on the site, and if the site is updated months later, how is that open communication? We would like to know how to continue in this matter and when the neighborhood meeting is going to take place. Based on our email communications, it sounds like a report might be near ready to present to the appropriate village boards after the first of the year. It also appears the Planning and Zoning Commission meetings are canceled this week, which is very disappointing. We would like the opportunity for ourselves and our neighbors to express our opinions and concerns in an open forum, as was told would happen before it is too late.
Thank you, Mr. Thiessen. Before you step down, though, I'm going to ask Charity Jones to maybe advise us and give us some more background and maybe answer some of your questions.
Sure, absolutely. And maybe I can help clarify. And my apologies if our consulting team gave unclear communications. So where we're at in the process of the comprehensive plan update is we have had preliminary input on community vision, overall goals for the future of LaGrange as part of the LaGrange Forward project, which is what the Mosaic pop-up, the farmers market pop-up, the open house that you attended this summer were all geared towards. The consultants are currently in the phase of taking all of that input, all of the hundreds of comments that we've received through the LaGrange Forward project website, and compiling all of that into draft goals and objectives and a draft vision statement. From there, the Plan Commission, which is serving as the steering committee for the comprehensive plan, will provide some feedback on those. We had hoped that that would be happening in December. The schedules just didn't allow for that. And then moving from there, it will continue to become a more detailed draft document, and there will be future public input opportunities. So no, there will not be, and there was not ever in our budget, a schedule for a public meeting in calendar year 2023 specifically about the topic of zoning for any particular neighborhood, because we aren't to that level of detail in the plan development yet. We're still relatively early in the process. It's about an 18-month-long project for the development of the comprehensive plan per our contract with TSCA. And so we're still at the overarching goals and objectives stage of the plan development. There will be more information forthcoming. As updates are available, they will be posted on the website. It has been a bit of a lull in communications because the consultants have been taking all of that input and trying to synthesize that into some overarching goals at this stage.
And Mr. Thiessen, if just for my clarification, I'm familiar with your property. It was originally zoned a 2-flat. It's being used as a 3-flat now. Are you asking for it to be made a legal 3-flat, or are you asking that the area completely be changed? What are you seeking?
Well, we would like our building to be a legal 3-flat, yes, but it would also be beneficial to the neighborhood, we believe, because there are several similar properties in that neighborhood that, if they're not being used as 3-flats, could be.
Okay. And with that as his desire, is what he's done so far the appropriate steps to make it known to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any more questions for the board staff at this time?
No, I just wish that the TSCA folks would have been accurate in their statements, because we were led to believe one thing, and now I'm here.
Well, I apologize for the miscommunication on that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other public comments? Seeing none, I'll move to trustee comments. Trustee Peterson.
Yes, thank you, President Kukler. I just want to say publicly, I wish to thank the Gurry Middle School. So I was happy to attend the Gurry Thanksgiving Feast, which is always the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. This year, I took President Kukler with
Thank you very
me.
much.
Yep, and I took Chief Norvalis, Chief Griffin. I took Trustee O'Brien, because his daughter used to attend that school, and always a good time. I always walk away, snitching more cookies than I should. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I know they would love to have you back. And I'd also like to thank the LaGrange Park District for the community trees on Wayola Park. That's about a block from my home, and I was out there, so I just wanted to say that Santa arrived by fire truck with a police escort. It was, as I told some of the people here, it was very exciting. Very exciting, yeah. Cookies, hot chocolate, so I'm going to be there. And I do want to say the trees look adorable. They're just darling. They really are. They're the village tree. Then there is the fire department tree with the helmets. I think there's a helmet on top of the tree. There is the police, which has the police caution tape as the garland. That's lots of fun. Love the hazard lights for the park, for the public works. Who came up with that idea? So the trees are lit every night. I think they were lit when I went by them at 5 tonight, so maybe from about 5 to 9 or 5 to 10. Anyway, thank you, Park District. We really enjoy it. I would encourage you to come on out, and thank you to the staff. You did a great job. The trees look great.
Thank you, Trustee Peterson, and I did enjoy the lunch. It was great at Gurry School, and I look forward to next year. And thanks for the staff on the trees. Your creativity is awesome. Any other trustee comments? Trustee Augustine.
Thank you. Thank you, President Kukler. One, and it's one of my usual ones, to please, if you aren't already, if you're feeling the quarry blasts, if you are feeling the effects or seeing the effects of gravel on the road, trucks speeding down your streets to avoid the tracks or traffic, and if you're getting any dust that directly blows out of that quarry into your yard and, of course, is blowing into our parks, please join the Lyons Township Quarry Information/Underground Blasting at McCook Quarry Facebook page for further updates on how a community group is working to rectify and shine some light on some of these problems. The second thing is in reference to Mr. Thiessen's, unclear communications regarding that meeting. Would it be possible for Tesca? I would like to see an update too as a resident who filled out comments. I've gotten nothing, and the website did kind of make it seem as if we'd be pushed updates now and then, and I haven't seen any. So maybe if they could push something out with a handful of updates, like you said, with the new timeline, just for people who have invested in putting their comments into this site to let them know it's coming, but it's a little bit further off than maybe some may be led to believe.
Thank you, Trustee Augustine. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, we are going into closed session following this meeting. At this time, the village board intends to meet in closed section under sections 2C11 of the Act to discuss pending probable or imminent litigation, and 2C21 of the Illinois Open Meetings Act to review minutes of meetings lawfully closed under the Act. The village board will not reconvene to open session, will not take any additional action tonight, and will adjourn immediately following the closed session. May I have a motion and a second to go into closed session?
So moved.
Trustee Gale.
Second.
Thank you, Trustee McGee. Clerk Saladino, please call the roll.
Trustee Augustine?
Aye.
Trustee Gale?
Aye.
Trustee McGee? Trustee O'Brien?
Aye.
Trustee Peterson?
Aye.
And Trustee Thompson?
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. At this time, the board will adjourn into closed session at 8:49 p.m. From the village board and staff, we wish everybody a happy holiday. We will be reconvening on January 8th, the earliest second Monday. So see everybody then. Happy holidays.